Hi, Ryan.
Hello, Spencer.
What happens with
How
you?
are you today?
Thanks, Ryan Bot.
Hello, friends on internet friends on the earballs.
What up?
We gather presently upon this audio track.
Are you a preacher now? Are you performing a wedding ceremony?
We have gathered here today to get weird as a group. Am I right?
We are now all married because we like ghosts.
All 50,000 of us are connected at the ribs for life. Hip.
Everybody take one rib out and pass it to the right.
It's like,
Peace be with you.
yeah,
Or whatever.
but like literally a piece of me is now with you. So be good to my piece, all of you.
Ryan,
Yep, that's to the point of today's ceremony.
we have one of our first soundboard editions of 2020.
Oh, shit!
Oh, Dip. A ghost racist?
Sick.
Also,
Sick.
I finished The Good Place last night.
Proud of you. I haven't started it yet,
man.
but I'm so excited to.
If you get to season 4 and need a way to watch it, I'll give you my DVR login.
Lit. Thanks, dog. I appreciate that.
It's a good time.
Good, man. Good.
It's an emotional ride, those last couple episodes.
Did you drop a couple,
Several.
several salties?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. That says a lot about a Spencer Worth Davis, too.
It's a lot. There's a lot happening there.
Oh,
They
man.
make a really good job. They do a really good job of making you care about those characters by the end of that show.
Lit.
Yeah.
All right, tight. I'm into
Anyway,
it.
shout out to Pillboy for giving us our newest sounder.
Also, you know what I think we might need? Play it for me one more
Just-
time.
I think I know what you're gonna say, but
Oh, Dip. A ghost racist?
I got trim the beginning of it a little bit better. But I think you're gonna suggest that we might just need the dip.
Oh, dip.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Dip. A ghost racist?
Yeah. We do talk about ghosts enough to need to ask the question whether or not they're racist.
Oh, Dip.
But that dip is so
Got some
strong.
like crickets in the
He
background.
kind of sounds like he's yelling it into like a cave a little bit. Or like,
Oh, Dip.
oh, dip.
He's like talking into a microphone PA because they just finished having
Well, don't spoil anything.
an EDM dance party. It doesn't spoil anything.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
Tight. Is that the
Also-
only one we have so far?
Well, I had another one that I thought was going to be really good lined up.
Uh-oh.
I watched Toy Story 4 on the plane the other day.
Bro, I'm excited.
Speaking of things I've cried at recently,
Oh, man.
add that to the list.
Bro, every Toy Story movie ever I have cried at. Toy
but-
Story 3. Is Toy Story 3 the one? Wait.
Which one is that? I saw it when it came out, and
Toy Story 3 is the one with the bear.
yes.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That one scene, oh, just like a teeny tiny baby, I cried.
I sent you the link to the Toy Story bit earlier that I wanted, but
I did listen to it.
Yeah, there's a character who's obsessed with trash, and he just keeps running around and looking at things and being like, trash? Trash. Trash? But there's music under like all of it, and it's Toy Story. So if you steal from Disney, I think you'd like end up in a gulag or something. I think them's the rules.
Them's the rules. And actually, the crazy part is they're so technologically advanced at this point.
They know that I just said that right now.
It just happens automatically,
They're
too.
scanning all 3 million podcasts on Apple Podcasts for mention of the word Disney.
You guys, it feels like a scene from Avengers right now. Spencer is just like floating into particulate, and he's going to be reemerged in a gulag somewhere.
Anyway,
They got you, bud. They got you.
before we get started, what's bringing you joy lately,
Yes.
or today, or in the last week-ish since we recorded?
All right. So for those of you who don't know, we have talked about it, but I think we should keep reminding people what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Do we need a name for this segment? Is
I
it?
did.
Is it fun?
Is it fun? Is pretty good.
It's not trash.
It's not trash. I really liked your hashtag you sent me earlier this week.
Oh, good, because I already forgot.
It was wait for it.
Is it related to our sponsor today?
It is related to our sponsor today. You text. Well, we were texting back and forth about a couple things, but you responded to me with a. Oh, God damn it! It's so hard. Why is it so hard? I'm looking through my text.
We be texting.
We do be texting a lot, my G.
Get there.
hashtag we're all going to therapy 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Huh? Went for the first time this morning.
How'd it go?
That was pretty good.
Tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're a great fit.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I'm going to give it another shot or two and see what happens.
The first time in my life I went to therapy for a while, it took me 4 before I actually found somebody I wanted.
4 different people?
4 different people
Yeah.
before I wanted to talk to that person on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, my first impression is that this not the one, but we'll see.
okay, right on. That is, in my opinion, one of the hardest parts about therapy is like, it's super difficult to go the first time and be like open and vulnerable and like talking about what you need to talk about and why you feel like you want and need to be there. And it's extra hard to be like, I gotta go do that again with somebody else because this is not the person. Sounds like you have to have that very first, very hard conversation multiple different times, which is like
Right.
a little bit difficult.
Yeah, part of what like, well, we could spend the whole episode on this and we won't, but part of what
Or
was,
fuck it, this is our show. fuck it.
remember, Ryan,
We don't
we
owe
don't
nobody
owe
shit.
these people shit.
We love you.
Yes,
and we're super
and-
grateful for you.
And
And we don't owe you shit.
part of it was like, part of my frustration was like, I felt like we didn't even really get there.
Just like
That
some
was like-
surfacey shit.
Yeah.
But that's part of it that's important too, is like
Yeah.
there is some, you
So
know.
I'm going to give it some time, but we'll see.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
I'm proud of you because it's not a easy thing. So,
Also, I felt like they were fucking with me at one point.
well,
So
then you really got to find a different
no,
one.
well, I mean, not her, not the person I went and talked to today, but like the system, the man, the
man.
machine was fucking with me.
What the man do?
They,
What that man do?
so it was way harder. Yeah, you got yourself with that
I'm
one.
sorry. I did. What that man do is funny to me. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
It was way harder than I thought it would be to get an appointment for the first time, and
Yeah.
like went through a couple different angles. Had several therapists just not respond to emails and phone calls, which I
Lit.
feel like is
Lit.
when it's literally your job to
help people.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
like
sound very
doesn't send a great message that
No.
you care about people.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And then they changed my appointment on me several times,
Oh.
and I was like, "Look, I understand that things happen, but for a guy who's trying to get some help with anxiety, this is really not helping."
Yeah, right.
And then I had an appointment scheduled for Wednesday. We're recording on Monday. And they called me at like 8:00 this morning, and they were like, "Actually, can you just come in like today at 10?" I was like, "That means I got to go in like an hour." I
Yeah.
was like,
Okay.
I guess fuck it. Let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
But so it was like not the most.
That would cause so much anxiety for me in its own right.
But part of me was thinking that, and part of me was like, well, now I can't think about it for the next 2 days. You know?
True.
Let's just go do it, and at least I'll have done it.
Dear sir, are you anxious? Okay, here's 19 artificial hurdles
Right,
you
I
need
was
to
like,
overcome.
Is this part of the intake process? Is this a test?
How did everything we did to fuck with you make you feel?
Right. Is this so we have something to talk about today?
Yeah. Let's explore that feeling.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man. Well, anyway, that was a long way of saying
Oh yeah, we didn't answer the question.
hashtag we're all going to therapy 2020. Spencer and I are trying to identify joyful moments every week at the beginning of every show as a way to kick off the week, and we hope that y'all find yourselves doing the same.
Is it joy?
Is it joy? Is this joy? It's that meme where it's like the guy with the butterfly.
Yeah.
Is this joy?
Yeah.
Oh God, somebody please make that and tweet it at us. That's what it has to be. Is this joy?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
All right. So what do you got this week or recently?
Yeah, well, so actually I think mine is impending. I've been like super excited about what's about to happen in the next 2 to 3 hours here.
The anticipation has been bringing you joy.
The anticipation has been bringing me joy, having something very strong to look forward to this evening, which is that after we record this episode, I will be recording another episode with a guest and friend of the show.
Andrew Sims.
Andrew Sims.
He joined us for an episode many moons ago.
Yes.
And our live 100 episode party.
Our 100th episode. Yes. He will be in partnership with me as we commentate the long threes or long twos.
Long twos.
Long threes.
So we have two teams this year. We're trying to
Spencer's Rec League basketball.
We're trying to rehab our image, right? So we changed our team names up so that maybe we wouldn't the refs wouldn't hate us before we got there and they saw us at least.
Because of the reputation that you have built for
we don't
yourselves
have a great
under
reputation
that name
over the last decade or so.
Yes.
So we changed one to We Love Sport.
Phenomenal.
And we were going to...
Hello, sir. We love sport.
Yes.
We are grateful for you having us here today. Thank you.
And then we changed the other one to... It was originally just going to be Settle in all caps with an exclamation point because that's what we yell at each other when we take lazy shots.
Oh, that's funny.
Or what... It's impossible not to yell at Andrew Wiggins when watching him play basketball.
Settle. Settle.
You're just constantly settling for whatever's easiest. But anyway, we went with long twos instead because that's usually what it ends up being.
Right.
Anyway, so Ryan is going to call our basketball game.
Yeah.
Along with Sims.
And then we're going to record it and put it out on the Patreon.
Yes. And we're going to make that free this week so that people can listen to the Patreon.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we should. We haven't in a while.
Yeah, let's do that. If you go to patreon.com/whatifpodcast.
It'll be up there on Friday.
It'll be up there on Friday. It's only $5 a month, and you get access to a back catalog of over 100 episodes you've never heard before.
It's probably significantly more than that now, but
yeah,
yes.
We've been saying over 100 for a half a year, which means it's probably closer to 150 or so at this point. And we put out a new episode there every single Friday, so you can hear that over there. I will say, it sounds like my moment of joy this week is to pitch the Patreon. I promise it's not. We've just had this idea for a really long time.
We've talked about it here and on the Patreon for at least a year now, and we're finally doing it tonight.
And we're finally doing it tonight, and Sims and I are going to drink beers and come
Do it before you get there because our game's in a school. Or, be sneaky.
Be careful about it. Okay. Yeah. I did have a question for you that I need some help with.
Okay.
When we talk about commentating here, I have a couple ways I can go.
Okay.
I can go super straight edge, play-by-play, fucking Troy Aikman or John Madden, just fucking call it like you see it.
They're both color commentary dudes though, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean they're pretty straightforward guys is what I'm trying to say.
I wouldn't associate John Madden with straightforward, but go ahead.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking of dudes that are not... John Madden was never particularly an exciting commentator, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then you have people like Kevin Harlan who's fucking doing commentary, but doing it from a very or Paul Allen locally here, from a true place of excitement and energy.
This event brings me great joy.
Yeah, and I'm hype about it, and I'm going to communicate that as I talk about it.
Yeah, happy to be alive.
And then there's another end of the spectrum, which is fucking NBA Street Volume 2 when Bobito was out on the court fucking being roast him!
You're gonna go escalate on it?
Show him! Yeah, exactly. Go escalate.
Right?
Yeah.
He was the and one dude.
He took it over eventually, I think, after he played for long enough.
Right. I just hope that Sims goes Bill Walton on it.
Oh, he's for sure
every
going
statement
to.
is a metaphor, and he spends 20 minutes rambling about Pink Floyd.
He's going to start asking me questions that are fully unrelated to everything we're doing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm fully prepared for this.
We curated the squad a little bit for tonight, too, for hopefully maximum entertainment value. So
fantastic.
If you've been listening to us for a while, one of the basketball stories from 2 years ago now, the we all fucking suck bit.
We all fucking suck. Oh God, great story.
That dude is no longer on our team. We invited him back tonight just to be a part of this event.
Is he the one that yelled it?
Yes.
Okay. This guy. Have I met this guy?
I don't think so.
This guy's gonna be my guy.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna be my guy.
All he does is shoot baseline mid-range jumpers.
And does he drill
and
them?
Run? Yes, he makes 100% of them. He was
and then screams at everybody else about how they suck. This guy's my hero.
And he was a like D1 college cross country runner.
Oh, Jesus.
And so
he's an
he
Energizer bunny?
sprints his ass up and down the court.
Sure.
Gets to his spot on the baseline and just
buckets.
do, 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 do.
Yes. Yes. All right.
So anyway,
the squad has been curated.
Yep,
The night
it's gonna
is
be a good time.
The night is afoot. Cool. That's mine. Is this Joy? What's yours? What you got?
I got to see some and spend some time with some buds that I don't see very often this week.
Yeah, buddy.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, buddy.
As fewer and fewer of my friends live in the same city as us, it's always good to be able to just hang out with people for a couple days.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And you got to travel and
Played 2 great shows.
make money making music in places.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Spend money, make money. Hopefully one's more than the other at the end of it.
Roughly break even making art in other places.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Make enough
man.
to keep doing it.
Right. Hell yeah. Word, man.
Yeah,
Good for you.
it was good. New York was a great time. Boston was a great time. Got to play an hour of music at Berkeley, which was pretty tight.
That's lit. I had a question about that show.
Sure.
I thought about it after the fact. I was like, oh, I wonder if those kids would be mad judgmental.
No, they were sweet actually.
Okay,
and
cool.
We worked with a bunch of students on the show, so like
sorry, let me just clarify. I don't mean to say that those kids would be shitty. I just mean more so like
they're all better musicians
they're all
than me.
extremely
Yes.
talented musicians,
Yeah, for sure.
and I feel like that would be super intimidating.
That's a school that I couldn't have gotten into when I was their age. Yeah, absolutely. Or now, for that matter.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, so we
had
a grad student playing piano with us and another professor playing trumpet with us.
Sick.
And one of the dance professors like choreographed some stuff for a bunch of her students that
Oh, that's
performed with
dope.
us. And yeah, it was really cool.
that's legit, bro. Cool, man. Good for you.
And then played a fucking damn near sold out podcast show the next night.
Brooklyn.
That shit has gotten fucking crazy. Had a good time in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Tight.
Saw some friends in Brooklyn.
Mm.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
good. It was good.
I meant to say to you, we have a mutual friend in Brooklyn that I should have put you in touch with while you were out there, but
Is his name Nick?
it is.
Has he been on the podcast before?
He has, I suppose.
Did
we
I
can
totally
reference him.
just fucking forget to hit him up and let him know that I was going to be in his city?
and realize that later?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
It was one of those things, too, where I was there for like, I got to town, I went to the venue,
Yeah.
I went to bed, and I left.
Totally.
But yes.
Also, in the future.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about weird shit?
Okay.
We got a whole bunch of it today. We just talked for 20 minutes, and in none of those minutes did I pull up my notes.
Well, that's okay.
I got it. Do you want to lead us today? You want me to lead?
Oh, no, I was just going to say that's okay because we don't know these people shit.
We can't exploit that fact that we don't know them shit. We still have to try to do our best.
We absolutely
But just
are.
remember.
Just remember, don't get so mad at us on the internet.
Okay, so early February of 2016, a simpler time. February of 2016.
Was it? Oh, yeah, we still weren't here yet.
Yep.
Oh, no, well, whatever.
I don't remember how that shit works.
Let's just pretend that person's
Anyway.
not real.
That too. In Forest Grove, Oregon, which is about 25 miles west of Portland.
Yes.
It's an exurb, perhaps, of Portland. I'm gonna keep using it because it freaked you out last time.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
There are rings of, like, I think that's a real term. Like a suburb
Don't you put that evil on me,
is
Ricky Bobby?
the first ring.
Oh, why don't we have that sounder? Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? That'd be a great one.
Yeah, it goes suburb,
A district outside a city,
exurb, and rural. So it's like,
especially a prosperous area beyond the suburbs.
yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Boom.
Crazy.
Been living with a transit planner for the last decade plus.
Yeah. You pick up a thing or two.
I learned a couple words.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, it's 25 miles outside of Portland. And in early February of 2016, they started hearing a weird sound that I will play for you.
I was going to say, we
Rather
play the
than-
sound first.
Rather than try and describe. Yeah. Let me see. Let's get some audio
Wait,
going.
wait. Can I do one descriptor? Because
Yeah, sure.
okay, my favorite was the Oregonian said the mystery sound, which only comes at night, sounds like a mechanical scream.
See,
It's like, damn.
so I was researching this yesterday at first in a place where I could not listen to audio. And I was reading all these descriptions. And then this morning I went back and listened to all this stuff. And the descriptions honestly made it sound, I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting based on the descriptions.
That's fair.
Here's the sound.
It's pretty fucking
So
intense in there.
Yeah, it varies in intensity and
Length.
yeah, it's intermittent.
In fact, I think that one you just cut off in the middle of its annoyance is like a full 45-ish almost seconds of uninterrupted that sound.
So this is someone just recorded this on their phone and tweeted it. This video is only 30 seconds, but there are many out there.
One of the longer ones I think has an uninterrupted
Yeah.
clip of it that goes close to 45 seconds.
So from all reporting, this was only happening at night, or happening primarily at night.
Mm-hmm.
It was not consistent in terms of like the duration or how often it would happen, or even like how loud it was.
Yep.
It was not clear where this was coming from. People weren't able to localize it to any specific point.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things too about that specifically, there is a university in town that we'll talk a little bit more about later.
Mhm.
But it's called Pacific University, and I get the impression that a big part of Forest Grove's existence is Pacific University being in the heart of it. But a physicist tried to map the locations of it.
Yeah.
And Forest Grove isn't very big. It's a pretty small town.
Population 22,000.
Yeah, so it's pretty small, but the very distances that people heard it from are like, it's all over the place. I mean, like,
You're
just,
saying, but those, so you're showing me a map with a bunch of, so this professor made a Google map on which people could drop a pin and report where they heard it.
yes.
But so you're saying this is where these people were when they heard the sound? That's what those markers represent?
These are the locations of the people's reports. So like when
Yeah.
people called in and reported that they were hearing the sound, this is where they were.
It's hard though, because no one ever, without tying this to a source, you don't know where it's coming from.
Agree.
And it wasn't, the sound was not very directional even. Like,
Totally.
it wasn't like people would walk outside, hear it and be like, oh, it was coming from this direction or across this hill or whatever.
Right.
People, it just sort of was like in the air, it sounded like.
I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to say by like explaining this map, is just that like there are probably 15 red dots on this map and they're all over. It's not like they're clustered in a neighborhood or.
But that's not a terribly large area either, right? That you just showed me on that map. I mean, how much, like, what would be the.
We're talking about like multiple miles across.
Yeah.
Like, I think from.
But
like,
if you drew a circle with a diameter of like 5 miles, it would probably encompass all of those points, right?
maybe a little bigger, but yeah,
Okay.
roughly that. But still, any sound that you can hear at different points across a multiple mile radius is like kind of weird, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. It doesn't necessarily have one source.
True. Yes, true.
So it could be that people are hearing the same or similar sounds with different sources,
Yes. And
which would also make it harder to ever like nail down the source of it just locationally.
yeah, and that was, for what it's worth, what the physicist, he didn't come to like a full conclusion, but said that he presumed that it was possible people were hearing different sounds and attributing them. It's not super dissimilar from what we talked about with the drone stuff, right? Where it's like you see a light blinking in the sky, people start talking about it.
It is, though.
What do you mean?
To me, there is one consistency in all of this that the drone story, for example, does not have, and that's that the sound is exactly the same. On all the recordings, which were not taken in the same area or by the same person or on the same day at the same time, they are literally exactly the same, like the same frequency.
Ooh, I didn't realize that. I only saw like the 1 or 2 videos. Are there more than that?
Yeah, there were. I mean, there were several tweets, and then I don't know where they were sourcing it from, but there were a couple local news reports that had recordings of it in their newscasts.
Got it.
But it's like for audio nerdery, real quick. It's 1150 hertz.
Really?
And it's like the same tone. It doesn't vary. It doesn't fluctuate. I mean, that's
Spencer
a synth playing that same frequency.
That is a keyboard in the studio. Yeah. Play the actual clip one more time.
Mm-hmm. There's like no variation in it, aside from the volume and the length of the sound, the duration of it. But that is one solid pitch.
Goes flat at the end there.
Yeah. So I think that's important. The video is just looping.
Got it.
I think that's important too, in terms of trying to like guess what this could be.
Yep.
And we'll come back to that. But I thought that was weird. And I think it also rules out a lot of what people were suggesting as possible sources of this sound.
Should we finish telling like how long it went for and all that stuff, and then get to what people were suggesting it was?
Yeah. So this started being reported in early February, and people were calling police, the city, the fire department got involved. And I don't know how many total reports there were, but it was dozens, at least. And this got picked up like on a national news level for a while in February into early March.
Yeah, I think it was the police captain or somebody, but somebody made a comment from like an official place in the town where they were like, yes, the city hall phone lines have been clogged for like weeks. Mm-hmm. So that made me think like, oh, we're talking like over 100 maybe calls.
So they did the Forest Grove Fire and Rescue did an actual, or I guess I should say official investigation into it, headed by Dave Niemeyer. I don't know.
Nailed it.
Fire marshal of Forest Grove. And they, by the end of March, basically said, like, we don't know what this is. We're pretty sure it's not dangerous, and we're going to stop looking into it.
Because we're not getting anywhere, and it is wasting time.
Reports were dying down, whether that was people had adjusted to it and stopped bothering to report it, or if people were actually hearing it less, or both.
I thought the last one was in February. Or were there more in March?
I don't know if it was being reported through March. They called off their investigation into it.
Got it.
In March.
Okay, because
2016.
The line I had was the local physics professor, whose name I haven't said yet. I should probably say what his name is.
Professor Dawes. I don't remember his first name. Dave Dawes.
Is it really?
No.
Oh.
Andrew Dawes.
Andrew Dawes. Andrew Dawes said the last point he had plotted on his map was on February 27th of 2016.
Okay.
Which is my birthday. So happy
sick
birthday to me.
Your birth stopped this noise. The noise was you being birthed.
You're welcome. In 2016.
Yes.
I wasn't born yesterday, but I was born in the last 4 years. Yeah, I guess I just feel like that's interesting too, that it's boxed pretty succinctly. Like you start hearing these roughly at the beginning of February and you stop hearing them at the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as, I mean, like you said, this got national coverage.
Yeah, ABC, Washington Post, like several national news organizations did stories on it.
Right. And it's never come back. They've never been like, hey, it's happening again. Or
I don't know if we'd know. You know, like we would only know if places were reporting on it again, I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah, for sure. But I guess I would say, like, if they stopped investigating it because reports died down, if it got pulled back up again, I feel like people would be putting tweets out being like, hey, I live in Forest Grove and this fucking crazy bullshit is happening again and it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it's worth, like, you know, people were calling, yes, because it's like a public nuisance to wake up at 1 a.m. to that fucking horribly high-pitched, annoying sound. But people were also like nervous for a variety of reasons. It was fucking with animals. Dogs were like yowling and barking.
Mm-hmm.
People were worried that there was a potential that this was a ruptured gas line. Apparently, the pressure of gas escaping through a pipe can create a whistle effect in the same way that a whistle literally works.
Thank you, Professor Copper.
I'm just saying, like, air passing
Work
through
like a whistle, you know,
pipe.
like a whistle works.
Woo woo!
Thank you, Bub Rub.
Whistle go woo woo! Oh man, we should have
That's
that.
only in the morning.
How do we not have that up for this episode?
I saw it today and decided against it.
All right, we'll just emulate it ourselves.
That's only in the evening.
But that's a lot of why people were calling too, was because they were like, A, it's a nuisance. B, it's fucking with our pets. And C, like,
Pets' heads are falling off.
This could be something dangerous.
Yeah, can somebody make sure we're not all going to blow up?
Yeah, is the whole city going to go up in fucking flames?
Let's take a quick break and then we can jump into like what this may have been or what people were speculating it was. At least.
Guess what happened? Okay, we'll be right back.
Ryan, in the spirit of our Is It Joy bit that we've been doing lately,
Yes.
this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Yes.
So BetterHelp is online counseling
Yes.
that can help with anything from depression to stress, anxiety, relationships, difficulty sleeping, trauma, all kinds of things. And you can get help on your own time at your own pace
Yes.
by scheduling secure video or phone sessions, chat or text with a licensed therapist and professional counselors.
I feel like this addresses so many of the things we talked about. It's hard to get to talk to somebody. No, it's not. Go to BetterHelp.
Right.
How do I schedule an appointment? Well, you don't necessarily need to go meet with somebody because you can schedule time via text or voice chat
Because you can
or
text
email
the therapist.
people. Yeah, which is just like, honestly, when I first went to therapy, I'm not just saying this because we've told you before, we're never going to lie about something on the show. If I had had this option the first time I went to therapy, it would have been so awesome to have that level of like, hey, I'm feeling X type of way. I just need to text somebody and get some like feedback or like interruptive or a tool that I can use right now. It's such a cool service.
Yeah, and it's safe, it's private, everything is confidential, and then on top of it, you get all the convenience of being able to do it on your own schedule and in a way that is most comfortable for you.
Totally. On your phone, they got iOS apps and Android apps. You can do it from wherever you are.
Also, if you're not happy with your counselor for any reason, you can request a new one for no additional charge, and they have more than 3,000 U.S. licensed therapists in all 50 states, and it's available worldwide.
If you want to check out BetterHelp, which you absolutely should, you can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp with discount code WHATIF. So if you go to betterhelp.com/whatif, just fill out a questionnaire. It'll help them kind of know who you are and who best to match you with. I've actually already done it and got matched up with a person and got my email, which is pretty cool. It's betterhelp.com/whatif. Hashtag we're all going to therapy 2020. And
that hashtag won't do anything for you, but feel free to tweet about it. Tag us in it.
We're saying that, but what you need is discount code WHATIF. So go to betterhelp.com/whatif. Use the discount code WHATIF for 10% off your first month of services through BetterHelp.
Back to weird shit. All right. So the Forest Grove Fire and Rescue never figured out what the sound was. A quote from the fire marshal said, "It's definitely a horrendous noise. I have no idea what the noise is. The resident described to us that it was coming from the middle of the street. To me, it sounds like the sound of train tracks." No, it's not. "That metal screeching sound, but there are no train tracks near her home, so that can be ruled out."
I will say, like, I get that assessment for a hot second.
If you only heard it once, maybe?
If you only heard it once.
Or in this case, if you only heard it being described to you.
Or if you heard like a small piece of it. But a train doesn't break at the same pitch, at the same, like, volume over and over and over again for extended periods of time.
But only at night.
And only at night. Like, that's not right.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Also, it would be pretty easy to determine where that sound was coming from.
Well, right. And
if there were train tracks nearby, go to them, watch a train. If it breaks, does it make that sound?
Right.
Mystery solved.
Right. That was also what I was going to ask you, too, is like, it seems a little goofy to me that they put fire and rescue in charge of being like, hey, where that sound at, though? Like,
yeah,
I guess, I don't
think,
know.
I mean, I think their main goal in investigating it was to determine if there was like a public safety issue.
Sure. It just seems like those people in particular would not have the tools or the skill set to identify the location of a sound and like track it down.
Who would be better, though?
I mean, I don't know. I'd go to the university and get some audiologists and be like, hey, do y'all know more about this than we do? Can you give us some like directional data? Can you set up some microphone arrays throughout the city and help us try to triangulate? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'd be doing all that before I'd be like, hey, fireman, go find a sound for me. Like, no shade. I just feel like that's probably not their forte per se. That was the other question that I actually had was like, of all those suggestions I made, I haven't actually seen what they did to try to find it. And like,
I couldn't either.
I mean, I don't know what you would do other than the things that I just suggested, but
so the police captain of Forest Grove Police, Mike Herbs,
you a fucking herb, bro.
Well, there would be a city ordinance violation if someone was creating a noise like this. This motherfucker. Somebody's breaking the law that late at night on purpose to annoy people.
If this was what you say it was, it would be illegal.
If someone was breaking the law, they'd be breaking the law.
And I'd know about it because I'm a herb.
At this point, we don't have information that would lead us to believe that's the case. So why did you say it? It sounds to me like some kind of release valve or some kind of pipe that's under pressure.
Okay, so I actually had a question about this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that there is a pipe doing that and that the specific size of the opening and the specific pressure with which whatever is escaping could just be hitting that note?
Yes.
Over and over and over again.
Yes. I think that's a decent explanation.
Sure.
In the case of trying to figure out like if this is coming from multiple locations, then I think it's safe to jump to like it would have to be a gas line or something, right?
Right.
Especially people are reporting it coming from like in the street or in the middle of the street.
Right.
That would make sense for like, I don't know a whole lot about utilities, a gas line perhaps.
They did say though that if it were a gas line, a leak of that magnitude to be making a sound that loud would be expelling so much natural gas into the vicinity that it would be super identifiable.
Right.
You would go, something smells like rotten fucking eggs. We're all going to blow up. Get the fuck out of here.
And also Northwest Natural, which is the gas company in Forest Grove, and Forest Grove Public Works Agency claimed that they were not responsible for the sound, which
wouldn't be the first time a major environmental issue was not owned by.
Right. That would also be the convenient conclusion to arrive at for them.
However, we also have to believe them because it's not like they were fucking digging up gas lines and repairing them in the town. People would have noticed that. And no smells of natural gas were ever reported by any of the residents. And so
and then
it's
you
like,
also have the issue of like something bad would have eventually happened if you were routinely leaking huge amounts of natural gas over the course of like daily over the course of a month in multiple locations around the town.
yeah, and then they just went, it's not us.
And then
I don't know.
and also that problem wouldn't have solved itself.
That's what I'm saying. Like at a
Yeah.
certain point, that would, if you just ignore the leaky gas valve, that eventually goes very badly.
Right. Or best case scenario, the sound continues.
Right.
Yeah.
And the smell of gas would continue.
So another argument for the gas valve, and not necessarily natural gas, but like a gas in the scientific definition sense, escaping from some sort of container.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was the Public Works Agency or the Fire and Rescue, but one of those agencies consulted with an acoustical engineering firm to be like, hey, can you listen to this and tell us like what sort of thing could make this sound? And then based on like,
did you make this sound?
where we are and what sort of materials are available, like, could you narrow it down for us?
Yeah.
And the representative of that acoustical engineering firm said it sounds like some sort of pressurized gas or air, which is the same thing, through a fitting or valve. It's not steady state. I don't know what that means. I think he's saying like it's intermittent.
Yeah, I think steady state would mean it's just
constant, yeah.
forever.
And you can't predict when it's going to happen. Those are very interesting sound features.
Which makes sense, right? Because if you think about like, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know nearly enough about, these types of services, but like, I would think the pressure with which gas is like natural gas that's fueling your furnace or whatever is being pumped throughout South Minneapolis is relatively standard.
Or constant.
Yeah. Right? Because if it weren't, people's furnaces would go out because there wouldn't be enough gas coming to their furnace to keep the furnace going. So you would need at least some consistent degree of gas being provided to every home at all times.
It sounds, like if it's a leak or a valve or something, like it's occasionally being closed, right? So that the sound...
or I guess I read it as the possibility that the pressure would change intensely enough that at certain spikes, it would cause it to make that sound and then come back down again.
But then the pressure would be changing like instantly because it's not like the frequency changes. It's just on or off.
Yes.
Which is odd to me if it's
although it does go a little
gas
flat.
Escape. Yeah. But like
it sounds
for
like
a fraction of a second.
It sounds like someone's blowing really hard into a woodwind instrument.
Right.
And then falling off at the end of it.
But just barely. And only sometimes. Because on those shorter bursts, if we pull up this sound one more time.
Let's hear the annoying shit one more time.
So they're like a couple of shorter bursts and then one long sustained one at the end.
Can we turn this into a new air horn?
I mean, anything is possible. So they're like the two shorter ones at the beginning. The sound does not trail off.
Yep.
And it's only on this super long one that at the end the pitch drops a little bit. And it actually gets higher.
Yep.
It goes up like a half step at the end.
Yeah, so it goes sharp then.
So which would make...
Sharp.
Because, which is actually what I was thinking earlier. If something is closing, the opening would temporarily be getting smaller, which should make it a higher pitched sound.
Yeah.
Which now upon re-listening makes sense. If this is...
It legit sounds like someone blowing into like a really... It
sounds like a clarinet.
Yeah, but you
or a flute.
when somebody's warming up with a clarinet and they're not using all of the pieces, they're just using the neck piece.
Yeah. The fuck. Sorry, Nelson. He's told me what that thing is called a million
ligature?
times. Yeah.
You fuck with your boy.
Hell yeah. You played a wind instrument.
I did not.
Did you play trumpet?
A wind
Brass,
instrument.
whatever.
Sorry, I thought you meant woodwind instrument.
Not a reed instrument, but a push air into it instrument.
I did play a push air into it instrument. Yeah, I played trumpet for almost 10 years. Yeah, the ligature, like just blowing into the ligature of a clarinet, does not sound dissimilar from that at all.
No.
And you can honk really hard on it too if you know how to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a single solitary note because on the ligatures pieces specifically, there's no modification holes on it. So the pitch is the pitch of the piece, basically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the other possible explanations is that like somebody was fucking with people and intentionally playing this sound or amplifying this sound at multiple locations at certain times of day.
Driving around the city at night
prank.
with a fucking...
Yeah. Which would explain some of it.
Yeah.
Like why it was heard only at certain times. Why it was impossible to nail down the location of it, the source of it.
Right.
I don't know. I have a huge list of possible explanations.
Tight. When do we get to the ghosts?
Well, I mean, if you have a ghost explanation, let's probably lead with that.
You want to lead with the ghosts?
Well, yeah.
I said, well, yeah.
If we got ghosts, let's get them out there.
Let's get there. Well, then the most logical explanation is this is Vera, bro.
Who?
Vera.
Who that?
Vera is a ghost that is known
That's a good start.
to haunt Pacific University in the vicinity of these sounds.
It's like Moaning Myrtle?
High key, absolutely yes.
Okay.
That is 100% exactly what it is. She's specifically known to haunt Pacific University's Night Hall and trick people inside of it. Jeff Grundin is the senior associate director of admissions at Pacific University.
Bless you.
Sorry, excuse me. And was originally extremely skeptical. However, on July 3rd of 1993, he says that there was essentially the first time he felt like he got fucked with was there was a door that should have been able to open that wouldn't open. Just felt like it was basically being pulled shut.
Oh, damn.
Then he said over time he started to experience things like strange smells, laughs he couldn't find, and lights being on when he had turned them off.
Laughs he couldn't find, like he was just real sad. He couldn't find.
That's the best way to say it. He needed to go to betterhelp.com. No, like as in disembodied laughter.
The spookier kind, not
the spookier
just
kind.
The sad kind.
He said one time when he was working in Night Hall, his briefcase slid 3 feet just by itself with no one near it.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah. And another time he was working with a colleague and a student, and the three of them saw just a fan turn on that was not on. So...
But wait, so does Vera does she play the clarinet or something?
No, not necessarily, but there are people who have said, look, Pacific University has this extremely poltergeisty, mischievous, playful, not very dangerous ghost. This would be like a very,
trickster ass, Vera ass thing to be doing out here?
Yeah, just to be fucking with people for the sake of fucking with people.
Okay.
I don't think it's correct, but the fact that we are in a college town where like literally the first sighting is about a half a mile away from Pacific University, the proximity matches up. Yeah.
I have just a list of what people on the internet or people who wrote into or called Forest Grove officials have suggested that it is.
I love the self-provided, I think I know what it is from people.
Yep. So let's just run through a bunch of these quick.
Okay, how about your boy?
And then we'll get out of here.
Yep.
From Paul Rogers. It sounds most like, what it sounds most like is bowing the edge of a metal plate. like a violin or bass fiddle bow and a thin plate of steel.
I'm actually not mad at that. Like, it does, someone with the right, like, know-how of tools could for sure make a big piece of metal make that sound.
It does sound like that. I'm not sure why someone would be doing that or why it would be heard all over the place.
Big enough piece of metal, though? Do you think you could make it resonate pretty loudly?
But then it would be really loud in one guy's driveway.
Yeah.
And not loud in other places. And then you would see Bill bowing a metal plate in his driveway.
Bill! Shut the fuck up!
Right? Kay Lancaster says...
My dog is fucking died, Bill. What the fuck?
Kay Lancaster says it's a bad valve on the... I love how people are just saying, it is this.
It's another one of the goddamn bad valves.
It's a bad valve.
I've seen bad valves in my day.
On the water line to or from a water tower.
That's extremely specific, Kay. Mm-hmm. Kay?
Kay.
Okay, Kay.
Blaine DeFries
is wrong already because he's got that name.
Also, he lives
That's
in New
the
York.
worst name I ever heard.
Blaine lives in New York, so he's disqualified. But he says,
What? Why is Blaine weighing in?
have they tried checking the bulbs in the street lamps?
Shut the fuck up,
These
Blaine.
lights can make strange noises when the bulbs start to go.
Do you think they can make the sound of a 50? What did you say the hertz was?
1,150, roughly. It's a slightly flat D.
It's real bad. It's real bad, bud.
Ryan, you ever had a slightly flat D?
Well, it's been a good ride, everybody.
All right. Somebody on Twitter said, same noise, and then put a YouTube video link. Which is, it's a video of someone working on like a commercial grade air conditioner that is making this sound that I'll try not to deafen us with. It's actually quite quiet. So this is...
It do suck.
Yeah. So that is air somehow escaping from a duct connected to a commercial air conditioner. He walks into this closet that it's in, and this is the difference in sound just between the door being closed and open.
Right.
So you're not hearing that outside of the building, much less across town.
No.
But the sound is very similar.
It is very similar. I would say, depending on the situation, if you had, I'm just totally spitballing here, but if you had an HVAC unit on top of a building,
right,
that was taller than the houses around it so that the sound was going up, not directionally side to side, it would be harder to pinpoint the location of... And if it was a giant HVAC on top of something...
We still have the issue with the time of day specificity, though.
We do, but I think you could fix that with an HVAC system if maybe that's at midnight, the system turns down to X degrees or up to X degrees if it's on a schedule.
Only when a certain airflow or something.
Yeah, like maybe they have, particularly with like big HVAC systems,
building,
the commercial ones are almost always on schedule so that they don't waste money.
Huh.
But what that doesn't explain specifically is why did it do it for 3 weeks and then stop?
Well, they fixed it. Or it broke in a different way.
And then they went and fixed it, and it fixed that problem too, and they didn't realize it was the same thing?
No, or like it broke more in a way that it no longer makes that sound.
Oh.
It now makes a different, quieter, less annoying sound.
Yeah, I guess it could have been like a precursor symptom to a bigger problem with an HVAC system, and it either broke more and stopped making that sound, or it broke in such a way that it required reparation, and then when they repaired it reparation? Repair? Wrong word. Required repair, and then when they went through the repair, it actually inadvertently fixed the sound at the same time, and they just didn't know they were fixing the sound because nobody had ever been standing next to it on the roof when it was like, Jesus, what the fuck is that?
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like
maybe it was on the roof of a megaphone store.
See, but that's the thing, right? Is like
a car stereo supplier.
Seriously, I mean, like the video that we are playing this sound from, the original sound, is like it's a woman standing in her front yard just like filming the street.
Yeah.
That sound to me is like
in a neighborhood. Like there's no commercial anything nearby. It doesn't look like.
And much of Forest Grove, if you look at it, is I mean, it's kind of a college town. It's like there's some residential in it, around it. It's up in the mountains.
The biggest building might be a Walmart.
Right. So it's like I like.
But all those places need big HVAC systems still. You know?
They do, but I just go, is that enough of an HVAC system for someone to be standing in their yard hearing that sound that fucking loud? That fucking loud?
Somebody suggests Mike West, who's from Texas.
Who?
Mike West. It could most probably, I'm not going to try and correct Mike's grammar. It could most probably be a capital W wind, capital T turbine, typically found on top of residential roofs. When their bearings start to wear out, they emit a V-high pitched sound, usually heard 2 to 3 blocks away, but visually are still functioning.
Okay.
He said...
Interesting, but again, if you are the house with the fucking wind turbine on top of it, you are the one waking up in the middle of the night going, Jesus fuck, what is that sound?
Okay, he said, add to the in frequency, it suggests a commercial turbine that's only spinning due to heavier wind or the occasional discharge of heat from, he says, baking or manufacturing at night. Just a thought, bud. That's how he closes this.
Hey, just a thought, bud. Just thinking here, bud.
Okay, somebody suggests a hot water heater. Again, I'm not really sure.
No. That shit out of here.
Fucking L.A. Chance says it sounds like a flute to me. Thanks, bud.
So
a dryer belt, an attic fan. No. Hold on. There's. Oh, this one's great. This is Daniel F. Goggin. I'm not a scientist by any means, but I'd be willing to wager the noises around Forest Grove coincide with the tide cycles of the Pacific Ocean. When the sounds occur, it's probably linked to the same tide level and direction each day.
Bruh. Take your pseudo ass home.
Talbot Maynard.
Whoa, strong name.
Says, did Bub Rub and Lil Sis relocate to Forest Grove?
Woo woo. If y'all don't know what that video is,
I mean, it's linked right here. Do it. Whatever. Google it.
Do it. Play it. Played it. I just want to hear the whistle.
The latest rage for kids is
Whistle
driving
tips.
parents and entire neighborhoods crazy. It's called a whistle tip, and it's welded inside a car's muffler to make the car screechingly loud for nearly a mile. Well, tomorrow night, Oakland residents will be complaining officially to City Hall officials. Crown 4's Mark Jones has the story.
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones.
Well, Pam, city residents have been told this noise is perfectly legal, so tomorrow they hope to start the process to change the law. Nearly every muffler shop in Oakland is installing Whistler tips. It's a piece of metal welded inside the exhaust pipes that makes the car audible for almost a mile. Tell me about the whistle.
I love that the first car they show is an old school station wagon with wood paneling on it.
Beautiful.
The whistles go woo.
Anybody that has it in their neighborhood's going to be totally driven crazy.
It sounds like what?
Well, you want to woo. It's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the flows. They didn't trip off the flow masters.
That decoration, man. It's just for decoration. That's it and that's all, man. We do it for decoration.
You have it on your car?
Yeah, I got it on my car.
It was being installed on their car.
God, it's so much better than I remember it. It's
With the Raiders bandana, too.
yeah, just styling on him. The
Bub
whistle
Rub looks
go
like he's
woo.
about 5'6", and they have to pan down like 2 feet to catch Lil Sis.
And he's so excited about it when he says it, too. The whistles go woo.
The last one I want to suggest,
Yes.
the last possible explanation, that is, over at Mysterious Universe, our guy Brett Swanser thinks it may have been people growing weed.
I'll listen to it. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I'll listen to it.
Okay, so he got contacted by someone named Sean Gleason. So I don't know. Do you know when weed became legal in Oregon? It was around 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was actually 2015.
Somewhere right in there. So he said in 2016, there was a particularly high level of activity concerning the manufacture of hash oil, which is a highly concentrated form of THC. Forest Grove is a well-known grow area, especially for production of hash oil. And they used, in the manufacturing of hash oil, often propane is used.
November of 2014.
Okay, so this would have been a year and a half-ish later, year and 3 months.
Yep.
Okay, Forest Grove has been known for years to be a location where people grow weed. As soon as I heard the sound, I knew what it was. It's the sound created by propane escaping from a metal pipe that is not lit. Many years ago, at a friend's house, they had a hose attached to the pipe that was connected to a large propane tank. It was used for controlled burns. When you finish using it, you disconnect the line for safety. When that happens, the leftover fuel still in the lines escapes and creates the same sound. So I started thinking, what would be the safest way to create hash oil so you don't blow yourself up and don't get caught? You go Breaking Bad style. You do it in a mobile home or an RV. The first time people heard the sound, it was on the outskirts of the city, and it was stationary and happening in the middle of the night or quite late. People probably didn't realize how loud the sound was going to be until they actually tested it. When the news started reporting about the noise, it quickly went from being stationary to being mobile and no longer just in the middle of the night. If you track all of the sounds reported in chronological order, it runs right to the middle of the town, basically during rush hour. Each report was pretty close to the main road leading in and out of town. I think the people who did this were either growers or new growers and received a lot of the trimmings after harvest. Blah, 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 blah. They realized they couldn't just sit in some parking lot or cul-de-sac and do this at night quietly. But because they probably had all their equipment and weed already in the vehicle, they probably just figured to get what they had left finished as quickly as possible and then redesign it later. The first time that the police reported the sound, a large propane tank was taken from the back of a truck the same night.
So
it would explain the mobile or like the non-localized nature of it.
It would.
It would also explain why it only happened for a few weeks.
It would.
Or a month or whatever it was.
What it doesn't explain for me is...
I also haven't heard the sound to compare how similar it actually is.
I haven't either. What it wouldn't explain for me is... I just feel like... I know it's hard because the firsthand accounts we have are cell phone videos. But the volume of the first one is so loud to me. It
can be deceptive though on a cell phone because there is like an automatic
isolation shit.
Well, no, there's like an automatic gain control on your phone. So your phone does not record at a standard like fixed volume. If it's recording quieter sounds, it will increase the gain. If it's recording really loud sounds, it will compensate and decrease it so that you're not hearing like the true like objective volume of that thing.
Yeah. One thing I want to know that would I think be helpful to me would be like, is this a thing where on Tuesday night at 1:10 a.m., people in a specific area heard this sound for 15 minutes and then it was done? Or is it a thing where it was like, like the version of the video that we have, was it that, but 6 or 7 times throughout the course of a night, and then it didn't happen again for 3 days?
Right. We just don't have specific enough information, which is why we're probably never going to solve this.
Right.
Especially since it seems to have stopped.
Yeah. But I mean, that to me, I think would help because then you're like, all right, well, these guys are not cooking multiple times a night and disconnecting a hose 7 times over and over again. But maybe if it's at the end of a cook, It's just the
It's
one
once a
disconnect.
night, and then the next night or 2 nights later.
And they're somewhere else the next night to disconnect somewhere else so that they know they can stop making the sound. I don't know. That to me would like help me decide on whether or not that's a thing. But I don't know, man.
The world may never know.
The world may never know.
Before we get out of here, do you want to tease what we're doing next week? You got a topic for us.
We got maybe like a part 2-ish of this. We've talked about weird sounds before.
Part 1B.
Part 1B, something like that. We have our own version of weird sounds right from our city. They've been called the South Minneapolis Booms or the Longfellow Booms.
Oh, shit. Tell the folks where we live.
Well, y'all already know. We're Southsiders. Yeah, we're going to talk about those next week. They are striking boom sounds that I've experienced personally living in the neighborhood I've learned in, living in the neighborhood,
Living and learning
blah, blah, blah.
here on the South Side.
So yeah, we'll talk about the Longfellow Booms next week and do our own little investigation right around our neighborhood.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. We'll see you next week.